indulgent. I really appreciate that, and I really think our clients will tonight too when they get to see the results of all your work. So I really greatly appreciate that. And would you mind shutting the door for me? If you see Laura, just try to discreetly let her in. So, and just to remind you, the peer evaluations are posted on Blackboard. So just complete those before Thursday at midnight. Just fill out the form, email it back to me. Nobody else sees it. It's totally between you and me. And Thursday we will meet our final time. And Avery, what was that room number?
204B Ferguson Center.
204B Ferguson Center.
And it's if you come into the Ferguson Center in the food court area, like past, where Subway is and all the tables, it's on that back wall. So like Fresh Foods is right there and on that back wall. So it's on the side, like kind of between Starbucks and Fresh Foods on the wall. Make sense? Okay.
When you come on Thursday, bring a beverage, non-alcoholic. Bring a beverage, and I will provide something else to go with it. Okay, and then we'll have our debriefing and our celebration of y'all moving on. So it'll be fun. Okay, not to waste another moment, I'd like for Team Me to come on up and read.
Woo! Team Me! Sorry.
Yeah, just okay.
If I do like this, it's not really.
I don't know. I probably wouldn't hear it.
I just like the left.
It's a big book.
Before we get started, we have a reference sheet that we want to hand out to you guys. You guys can follow along with this. Hey, Miss Jency. Hello, Dr. Hello, how are you? You can share if you need to. Actually, don't have to. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Alexandra Washington, and I'm the account executive.
My name is Colby Leopard.
Danielle Nolan.
I'm Mimi Ross. Avery Armstead.
I'm Kristen Nelson.
Pierre Baldwin.
Shayla Wright.
I'm Mary Nicole Hopkins.
Lila Chumley.
Rosemary Russell.
Mitchell Brennish, and I'm project manager. And we would like to thank you guys for first coming out to see our presentation tonight. And we are speaking on behalf of the Center for Mental Health and Aging with Dr. Parmalee and Ms. Jessica. If you guys would look at your reference sheet, we're just going to do a quick run through as to our plan that we had. Our objective one was to conduct 2 focus groups. Our strategy was to recruit at least 20 participants, 10 being African American and 10 being non-Hispanic whites. Through this, we also planned the logistics for our focus group and reserving a space to actually have our study. And with this, we also brought into another component our 2 in-depth interviews. Basically, with our focus group, we didn't have a great turnout like we wanted to, and so with that, we used this component to actually supplement the information that we did not come through with our focus groups. And we identified 2 willing individuals that provided us with well enough information.
Our third objective was to recruit and foster engagement in 220 participants for the Everyday Quality of Life study. And in order to do this, we had 3 pretty involved strategies. Our first one was to conduct a mock research study that would be similar to the actual Everyday Quality of Life study that Dr. Parmalee is doing. And then we also wanted to develop relationships with community leaders and church pastors that would help us promote this study. And our third strategy was to establish interpersonal communication with participants of the study before, during, and after they were completed. Our fourth objective and our final objective was to improve recognition of and branding for the Everyday Quality of Life study in particular, not the Center for Mental Health and Aging as a whole. And in order to do this, we created an identifiable and consistent brand to be used on all collateral. And we also began the process of hiring a communications intern in order to further these collaterals. And for our budget, at first, we were about $856, which is a little over $100 over budget. After careful reconsideration, we decided the majority of our costs were our mailing costs. So we decided to only send the first newsletter and first birthday card through hard mail, and then the rest over the years via email. This cut down heavily on our mailing costs, and we also added in the cost of our brochures and intern posters on this one, and there'll be no mailing costs for those. Now our budget comes to $578.78, which is almost $200 under budget, and at your discretion, Dr. Parmalee, you may choose to pay a stipend to the intern with the remainder of the funding. That'll be up to y'all.
On March 1st, we started recruiting 10 African Americans and 10 non-Hispanic whites for our focus group. And on the 4th, we planned to reserve a room here at the 5:30 lab, but we decided to meet the participants where they were comfortable. So we held one on campus at the Ferguson Center and one at a local church. Our blog was set to go live the 5th of April, Friday the 5th. And we decided to push it back to the 12th so that we could edit and finalize the videos and the post for it, and it turned out awesome, and we're really proud of it. Also, during the second week of April, we conducted our mock study. And then on the 11th and the 15th, we conducted in-depth interviews that accompanied our focus group.
Now, with our focus groups, now time for the evaluation. Between the two groups, we found with the African Americans, they were more concerned with their health benefits and what good it was to the community. They wanted to know, would it better their need participating in this study? What kind of good would it provide to the community? Is this information that would be open to the community? On the other hand, the non-Hispanic whites are more concerned with the analytical reasons behind it. What research is actually being conducted? Where will the research be posted? What exactly are they trying to find in this research? And also the target demographic as well. We also found between the two, mail and email are mostly desired, not phone calls in between those two. So we found that to be quite interesting, especially in concerns to the study. But as we said before, the primary concerns about participating was the potential for good, the reason for the study, and also another thing that came up was the study time frame. Would it be at my convenience to participate in the study, or is it something that I have to work with you on, or can we find a happy medium in between? And so people were concerned a lot about their time and how much to dedicate to actually be a part of the study. And also it brought about the idea and the component of incentives and compensation. People wanted to know, if I'm giving you my time, what am I getting in return from this, if anything? So that was the evaluation of the focus group.
Our second objective came from the need for more information after not having quite as many participants as we wanted in our focus groups. And it turned out very valuable because it sort of consolidated all the information we did learn in our focus groups. We sat down with two individuals in a one-on-one situation and asked them the same questions as we did in our focus groups, and they really confirmed the general consensus that we found in the focus groups, and they had no peer influences. So it served to just confirm all of our findings thus far.
Our third objective was to recruit and foster engagement, and we did this by initiating a mock study. In our mock study, we set a goal, and we actually exceeded that goal by finding 6 participants that we called 4 times a day for 3 days. And we asked them various questions about their knee pain, about their everyday quality of life, and what the things that they were doing and how they were participating. From that, we found 3 things. The first was that building relationships is key. The second, an appreciation and genuine concern for an engaging conversation. And the third is important for participants to feel connected to the study. All 3 of these key things that we found actually tie into one cohesive meaning. And that meaning is just that having one person call the people multiple times a day created a relationship with that one particular person and made them feel more connected to the study. And also the questions that were being asked, was it more about knee pain or was it more about their genuine concern? We found that when we married both of those questions together, that the person actually felt connected and obligated to the study and wanted to learn more and felt like they had built a relationship with the person who was asking them the questions, which I think will keep them more engaged in the study and continue them on for future references.
So immediately when we started this project, we knew that we were only going to be a resource for you guys for a semester. So eventually we were all going to move on either for graduation or other things. So we wanted to make sure we set up the center with the necessary tools to realistically continue to implement some of the things that we had started. And one key part of that was developing relationships with community leaders. In many cases, church leaders, community center leaders, et cetera, serve as gatekeepers to this demographic. They have aerobics classes, they hold Bible studies, things like this, where this demographic is often found and it's in a lot of cases, their comfort zone in the community. So we were able to access the church database, and we were emailed roughly 60 church members. Now the database was a little outdated, so some we got some error messages, something didn't go through, but we were able to meet with 3 different representatives in the community, as you can see from the Bobby Miller Center, Canterbury Chapel on campus, and the Phelps Center, and we were pleasantly surprised at the overwhelming positivity we received in return. In most cases, these were just short 15-minute meetings with Kristen and myself, and all 3 individuals were more than excited to help out in any way that they could. In most cases, they would say things like, oh, well, do you want to set up a table like tomorrow? And so they were very eager and thrilled to get involved. And it seems like this is something that's pretty common for them. They have a lot of community members who come and try to recruit from their facilities and things like that. In addition to that, we also got email commitments from the Hughes Center and Grace Church as well, in addition to compiling a contact list of other community members who emailed us back and said, we'd love to meet with you, but because of our time constraints, we weren't able to get to everyone. But that contact sheet is in the book, so I'll be able to use that in the future.
Objective 3 also states that we would create an online blog to communicate with the study audience. The purpose of creating a blog for the Everyday Quality of Life study was to provide the study's audience with an alternative means of communicating about and understanding study. This is so study participants and those merely interested in the study can follow updates and receive information in a faster, more effective way. The blog also serves as an alternative information resource to the Center for Mental Health and Aging's website and is designed to be more engaging as well as more visually attractive than the website. Furthermore, the blog strives to anticipate questions from the study's audience and answer them before they can even be asked. The written blog posts encourage the audience to think critically about the study, as well as to make them feel more involved in the study itself. To further engage the audience, the blog incorporates the use of video blogs that were filmed with Dr. Parmalee called Study Chats. These videos are easy to access on the blog, answer a lot of the most important questions about the study, and most importantly, they put a face to the study so that the audience can see the passion behind it. Our group recognized from the outset that to execute the blog would be especially difficult to do for 2 reasons. Number 1, this particular region of West Alabama is behind the technological curve, that many people here either don't have access to computers or don't know how to use them. Number 2, the age demographic of the study's target audience being 50 plus implies that many people would be unfamiliar with the internet and how to use it. Given these demographics, however, we believe the blog will be more effective than other electronic communication methods, namely social media. That's to say that the 50-plus age range that we'll be working with will be more used to using the blog than Facebook or Twitter. Additionally, this age demographic would feel more comfortable with using a blog rather than Facebook or Twitter because of the issues concerning privacy in terms of social media. Additionally, given that the study lasts for 5 years and that our society is moving closer and closer to technological dependency, we feel that the blog will be useful immediately as well as become more and more useful over time. So with that said, I'm going to pull up our blog and show the video that we produced.
Sure.
Wow. I think the thing that says, you know, I haven't. I watched it a couple of times just to watch myself anyway.
The study is Everyday Quality of Life in Blacks and Whites with osteoarthritis, which kind of pretty much wrote it out. Osteoarthritis is something that most older people will deal with as they get older. Until fairly recently, they didn't know a whole lot about how the symptoms of arthritis, which are mainly pain and stiffness, affect people's everyday lives. So what we're interested in is how older adults cope with osteoarthritis on an everyday basis. How it interferes with your daily activities, how you cope with that, what are the strategies you use to ameliorate the symptoms and to keep it from interfering with your everyday life, and how those everyday strategies affect your long-term emotional and physical well-being. Because we know a little bit about how older African Americans and non-Hispanic whites cope with illness generally, we think it's important to compare those two groups to learn how they cope on an everyday basis and how, again, that affects their long-term well-being.
So we're very proud of these videos, and we have full that are completely produced and ready to be put online whenever the Center for Mental Health and Aging is ready. We also have a plethora of footage ready to be edited into other short films to continue this study chat series.
And for our objective 4, it was to improve recognition and branding. In terms of hiring a communications intern for the center, we've written a job responsibilities and duties list for you. Also a list of minimum requirements for the intern, as well as a timeline for the intern to follow. The main objective of this internship is to provide real work experience to an undergrad communications student while providing the center with regular content management. The intern will be in charge of tasks such as writing material for the newsletter and distributing it quarterly, writing blogs weekly to be published every Monday, video blurbs or posts on the last Monday of each month, ensuring birthday cards are mailed to each participant at the appropriate time, sending thank you cards after each person participates in the study, and also maintaining that communication with church and community leaders by visits, calls, and distributing collateral pieces, which should be done monthly. We have also created a tentative schedule for the intern to follow by month, stating all the duties needed for the center to run seamlessly. We have also created a intern poster that will be posted at the Career Center and also on the job and opportunity boards here at the College of Communication and Information Sciences. That will also be sent to professors for them to distribute to their students. And now I'll let the design team tell you about creating the collateral.
Okay, so basically with our objective to rebrand the study, we really wanted to come up with something that was really consistent and also eye-pleasing to our target audience. So first we came up with our logo, and as you can see, we wanted to keep the crimson color in it just so it can identify with the university, and we wanted a real nice clean-cut font to go along with it as well. And with our brochure, we came up with this kind of template that we use on all our collateral pieces, this kind of square template. And we felt like it wasn't too old, too young. It kind of really went well with the personality of our target audience, so we really wanted to keep it relatable to them. And here's the brochure that we came up with. And it basically discusses the study as a whole, gives them a little bit of information on the symptoms. And in the inside, we kind of came up, we got a few images that kind of would catch the attention of our target audience. We wanted to give them a little bit of information about you and let them know that you are qualified to do this study. We wanted to let them know that they will be compensated for participating in the study, and information on the study and the center as well.
The next piece we made is the internship poster that will be posted in the Career Center as well as in the communication building here. And we wanted to make sure that the responsibilities and requirements were shown so that the potential intern would know what they're getting into, as well as having enough little tabs for them to get information about how to contact you. And here you can see our thank you postcard. Those will be sent to the individuals after participating in our study, just as a little thank you for helping us out. And then we also made happy birthday postcards to go out on participants' birthdays once a year, every year. And the first year we'll send that traditional snail mail, and then after that they'll go out digitally. And then this is our newsletter template. You see we kept consistent with the colors and the overall design, but this will make it easy for the potential intern to go in and just change all the information as they see fit. We also compiled a list of future recommendations in case you ever want to implement this study again, whether that be in a few months or a year for a refresher of this study, or if you want to do it for a different study, or just anything in the future that you may want to go through this kind of same template for. And so these are the things to consider in the future. First, we found that the list of church and community leaders is very beneficial, but it's short. So we thought next time maybe create a more thorough list and keep it updated. So every time the intern makes a call or makes a visit, they just kind of update that list to say, you know, the Phelps Center needs more brochures, or I talked to the pastor at Alberta Baptist and he's ready to send out an e-blast or something. So just having a regular updated list that's very thorough thorough would be helpful as far as your collateral and will help the intern know where to go next. We also considered creating a quantifiable quiz for the mock study. What we did this time was ask more of a note-based questionnaire type thing, and we put it all in a spreadsheet, which was very useful, and it was a great process. However, we thought next time if you did maybe a numerical scale, how are you feeling today, 1 to 5, what's your knee pain, on a scale of 1 to 5, that may give some different kind of results, and it would just be interesting to compare the two. We also considered filming a PSA. I know we had talked about that during our proposal. And after our videos were completed, we thought they were very thorough and a quality product, so we thought a PSA might be a little excessive. So maybe next time that would be something to consider. We also recommend, should you do this again in the future, to continue using the logo and the template for the design pieces, because you don't want to make your target audience confused. You want to avoid confusion, so just continue to use the same color palette and things like that. And right now the blog is at uaocio.wix/CMHA. So if you wanted to purchase a specific domain name, you could do that, where it would just go straight to everydayqualityoflife.com, but you would have to purchase that. So that's something to consider as you move forward. And our last recommendation, if you should implement this again, perhaps consider a new objective that focuses on therapy, physical therapy centers, and doctors' offices, because those are two places that we didn't really touch on. We felt that community centers and churches would be more beneficial to us. So maybe next time, try to get some more people from those areas.
Dr. Farmerly, Ms. Jessie, and Dr. Horsley, we as team would like to thank you all for this opportunity and would like to express our gratitude to you for providing us with the chance to put our in-class skills to real-life experiences and working with the Center for Mental Health and Aging through the Everyday Quality of Life study. And we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you very much for your time.
Great job. Great job.
Why don't y'all wait up here and see some questions for you? I know there's going to be a lot for you to read through
Yeah,
as well.
we've got a lot to, Cynthia, I'll share it with you. Y'all did a fantastic job, you really did. It was very interesting to hear what the focus group and interviewee had to say about what was attractive about the study and what was important to them, and the differences between the African American and non-Hispanic white group. That would be really helpful to us.
And that's also included in the appendix as well. That's noted in there. We actually have transcripts for both groups.
Great.
They get exactly what they said, word for word. So thank you, Chandler. Chandler actually did that for us.
That's wonderful. So that gives us really something to study and to work with. I like the logo a lot. It's simple, it's clean, and I really like the brochure. So I think y'all did a great job with the branding. I'm just thrilled. I think you did a great job. We appreciate the outreach to the community because you basically, not only you've opened some specific doors that we can follow up on, but Jessie and I were talking about this earlier today. We were kind of dreading the notion of going out and starting to non-fundraisers because we don't know what kind of response we're going to get. And now you've given us a great incentive because it looks as though we're going to get a very positive response. So we can put chew on our nails and get out there and start.
I think once we met with them in person, they were, like, once they put a face with the name kind of thing, they were really quick to buy in, you know. When people emailed us back, they were like, well, let's meet in person first. But once we met in person and proved them that we were invested in it and we weren't just, like, arbitrarily jerking them around, then they were much more excited to help out.
Excellent. So they're expecting to hear from us?
Yes, ma'am. The gentleman at Canterbury Chapel actually requested, he said, after we finished meeting and everything, he looked at me and he said, you make sure that they know we are so willing to help with this stuff, because they are on campus.
I'll email them later.
And you make sure they know this is why we're here. We're here to help with on-campus stuff. So
That's great.
they're looking for y'all.
So do y'all have those 5 specific names in here?
They're in the.
Everything's on the CD.
Which
we-
section
I
are
can
you
show
in?
you. Let me show you. It would be in the evaluation section. Here, I'll help you find it and then help her find it.
So we have a CD with all this stuff on it.
Right.
That's great.
That's where we'll find, like, the thank you notes from the presenter, like a style guide of what fonts and colors to
Here's who we met with specifically, and then their contact information is here on the back.
Perfect.
We made a phone call to him, we met, you can see who we met with, and everyone we met with is on board and waiting to hear from you. And then these are people who were referred to us by other people, that said, "You contact him, contact him." And then we emailed several people that confirmed over email, they want digital copies, that's what these do.
Great.
So,
Great.
and like I said, it's short, but it's a starting point, and it's something you can build on, for
It's a
sure,
great
because
starting
it's on this CD. The ones that we met with are all 100%, the emailed people want digital copies. And then these are just people whose names are given to us, say, these, she'll be interested, contact her. So,
This is wonderful. This is a great page. I really like the layout. At first I thought, but no, I really like it. It's modern.
Well, it really is identifiable. They did a good job of making it all match.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can, it would
And
be.
you've done the first newsletter for us. We were talking today too about, what are we gonna say in the newsletter? Now we
I
have to
thought
worry
that
about
was
that.
a neat approach. They did vitamins
Yes.
and minerals.
and that's also on the
Like,
blog,
wow.
that
That was a good topic, just, because they wanted to make what they sent out informative, not just about the study, but what can help you now. And I thought that was a really cool little first article they
Oh,
did.
this is awesome. We were talking, timing's perfect because we were talking today about, well, we need to have something that's not just about the study, something, information they can use, and bingo, you nailed it. This is great. My only problem with this whole process is that watching myself on that video.
And it's funny because we thought the exact opposite. We were like, she's gonna be so cute when she's sitting there watching the video.
Well, just a couple of procedural questions, maybe. In terms of the poster, is that ready to go to print?
Yes, the poster is ready to go to print. It's also posted, online, through the Career Center, where people go and look for internships and jobs and things like that. We actually have it set to where they can apply through June, and if we don't get a response from that, they can start in August. So we didn't want to put a set ending date on it because when it ends on the actual database, it closes out, so you have to go back in. And so we have it set from, I think it was last week on Tuesday, up to the end of August
Okay.
that we have set up, so you guys, have that free space. And also with the calendar, or I guess, timeline that we have set out for the intern, if they end up starting in June, they have duties to do from June to August. But if they start in August, they still have it out all the way through.
Good.
So it works either way.
All of our login information for the internship database, the blog, the website, is all
All
on
the
a
same.
sheet. So you'll have access to all of it.
Great. This is really exciting. We really appreciate it.
And hopefully, if people are going to apply, it'll be soon, because we're finishing registration now, as you probably know. And a lot of people, though, maybe think they want to do an internship and haven't identified it yet. So between now and August, I'm glad you did it through August, because students sometimes, they decide to do the internship at the last minute because they haven't found one that fits their schedule yet, or so hopefully that and getting the posters up will help to do that. I have another question about, so everything's on the CD that needs to go to be printed, and then the native files to the intern.
Right.
Because some of the files are like Adobe InDesign, right? And even though you may not personally have them, those programs are in the Gorgas library.
Oh, great.
And where else can she access them?
Here.
Rogers. So your intern should be able to access those programs anywhere, and if your intern is from our department, they will have taken the class that teaches them how to use that software.
So we have the PDF and the native file as well
Yeah.
on that disk.
So that shouldn't, so don't be worried that that you can't open the native file, because, you could either open it in the library yourself, or the interns, of course, will be well versed in that, so, right?
And this is a public relations intern, so it'll draw the attention to people who know how to use that stuff, and taking classes and all that stuff.
Thank you so much.
Do you have any other questions, or?
I need to go to Jeff, but this overview, I think, You guys pulled this off. I didn't think you would. But they can't get all that done. You did a great job. Really excited. Thank you so much.
I would really like to get a picture of the team with the client. So we can see
Yes, ma'am.
Are we ready?
You guys have good knees.
You got good knees?
Alright, ready? 1, 2, 3. We're gonna take one more.
You need to be in the everyday quality of life. I do.
And I'll take a break.
I'm ready. Come on.
Hold it.
Hold it.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, boo. It's over for real.
By the way, Sorority Row is completely closed down, and they tried to tell me that I couldn't cross it to get in here.
It's
and I was like,
completely
"No."
closed.
There's a gas leak or something. I don't know. That's why I was so late. I had to sprint.